Hi everybody, it's Carla. I just wanted to come on and show you that I had found a really easy homemade bread recipe. I found it out of an old thrifted country magazine from like 20 something years ago. And I cut it out, and it is called Milk and Honey White Bread. And it was the Midwest contest winner for that magazine back in the day. And I wanted to show you the finished product. I don't have any loaf pans, but I did have two different sizes of the Corningware French white baking dishes. So I made my bread, instead of loaves, into rounds. I just took it out of the oven, and let me read you the recipe, and then I'll tell you how I kind of tweaked it. And this is the yeast that I use, Fleshman's Rapid Rise Fast Acting Instant Yeast. So this was the recipe, and you can just see it on the screen too. 1 package active dry yeast, 2½ cups warm milk, 1/3 cup honey, 1/4 cup butter or margarine, and I used margarine, 2 teaspoons salt, and it said 8 to 8½ cups of all-purpose flour. Now I ended up using only 5 cups, and then possibly another cup when I was kneading it on the the surface. And so I didn't use 8 to 8½ cups, and I just wanted to tell you to add your flour 1 cup at a time and stir it in 1 cup at a time so that you get a better product that you would enjoy. It says, in a large mixing bowl, dissolve the yeast in warm milk. I put my milk into a pan on the stove on a low heat, and I just kept stirring it and checking it until it was like baby milk temperature, where I didn't feel it on my skin when I put a little drop on there. And that was like body temperature, and that was a good temperature. It says 110 to 115 degrees, but on my stove it goes from body temp to too hot very fast, and if you use too hot of a liquid in your bread, it will kill the yeast, so I didn't want to do that. Okay, so we've dissolved the yeast in warm milk. Add honey, butter or margarine, I use margarine, salt, and 5 cups of flour. Beat until smooth. Now I didn't have a gigantic bowl, and I didn't have a big stand mixer. I had to stir this by hand. So I just did 1 cup of flour into all those liquid ingredients, and I stirred it, and as it got incorporated, then I added another cup. Stirred it, incorporated, add another cup, and I got up to 5 cups of flour, and it was just the right consistency, and I stopped at that point. Then it says add enough remaining flour to form a soft dough. At 5 cups of flour, my dough was a soft dough. Turn onto a floured board, knead until smooth and elastic, about 6 to 8 minutes. Mine only took about 5 minutes because it didn't have as much flour. And I did use possibly another cup of flour, just adding it to it so it wouldn't stick to the surface as I kneaded it, folded it, and kneaded it again and again. Then place into a greased bowl, and for my bowl I used margarine, and I always dip it out with a plastic baggie and just smear it inside the dishes, and then I can toss the baggie out. My hands are clean that way. Place in a greased bowl, turning once to grease the top. And I did that, and so on all the sides had the greasing on it. Then cover and let rise in a warm place until doubled, about 1 hour. And mine, it took probably 1 hour and 15 minutes to actually double. My kitchen, I had my heat turned down, so my kitchen was not super warm today, and I didn't have the oven on yet, so it took a little longer, about 1 hour, 15 minutes. Then punch down, I did that, and then shape into 2 loaves. And like I said, I didn't have a loaf pan, but I put like 2/3 into this large baking dish and the other third into this one. And then it says cover and let rise. Now, one good thing about these dishes, instead of in a loaf pan, I can actually put a pan lid on these, and it holds the heat in better as they're getting to the double size. So let's see what it says. So cover it until doubled, about 30 minutes. Now mine took, again, a little bit different timing because my temperature was different. Mine took about 45 minutes to double in size. Then bake at 375, which you need to preheat your oven for about 10-15 minutes to get it up there. 375 for 30 to 35 minutes or until golden brown. So these are nice and golden brown. They're not burnt or charred or anything, and you can see where the sides are being released as it cools down. And this is it looks very rustic. It's not your professional kind of bread. In the past, I've used a bread maker, which it died on me, and I don't have another one. And I've been looking for an easy recipe because I've got arthritis in my hands, and it's very hard for me to manipulate kitchen equipment like spoons and knives and forks and stuff, the big ones, for me to do this. But this was even easy for me, so I'm very blessed to have found this recipe. Then it says cover with foil if necessary to prevent over browning. Like I said, mine came out at about 30 to 35 minutes exactly, and it made a hollow sound when I pounded on it, and I knew it was done that way. And then it says, so I didn't get the over browning that it was talking about. Remove from the oven and cool on wire racks, and it makes 2 loaves. And the cook was Kathy McCreary of Goddard, Kansas, Milk and Honey White Bread. My dad has been a wheat farmer all his life, and my state is the wheat capital. So this recipe represents my region and my family well. This bread never lasts too long at our house. Now, my husband loves homemade bread. I do too, but like I said, I haven't made it in a long time. Today was a good day. It's kind of chilly here in Alabama. We went from almost 80 degrees. Now it's damp yesterday for the last few days, and we're down like in the 60s, even though it's sunny out. And so it was just kind of a nice day to have a warm kitchen. If you saw my earlier video, I cleaned my refrigerator front, so I also made some new refrigerator magnets there. And I just wanted to share with you this recipe. And yeah, if you get a chance to make this, it smells delicious. And I just use regular honey from our grocery store. Now, I know health-wise it's best to get honey from your area, that you get the most health benefit from that. But I didn't have any that was particular from Alabama. We do get that sometimes. But I think that would be a nice addition if you had local harvested honey to put in this bread. But it does look delicious. If we had smell-o-vision camera here, I think you'd think it smells delicious. It just smells like you're in a bakery. And like I said, it's very rustic. And when I turn it out, we'll just slice into it or tear a chunk off or whatever. And tonight we're having chicken salad, and we're having a cup of chicken noodle soup, and we're going to have it with our homemade bread. So I hope you like this. I had a lot of fun making it. I'm not a bread maker by any stretch of the imagination, but this actually turned out well for me, and I just wanted to share it with all of you. So thank you so much for watching and all your kind comments on my videos. I appreciate it, and take care. Talk to you later. Bye.